Okay, this week's Monday morning update, except I don't think it's morning anymore, and I'm not even sure what the date is. I think it's the 26th um, of July. So I am the practicalities. Uh, my cats have moved into the rental house. I have unpacked half a dozen boxes or so here in the rental house and arranged a few things so it feels a little bit more settled. I'm going to take these empty boxes back over to the other house. So we have them to move some for food and random stuff back over here as the time serves to get it done. I got to clean out the refrigerator today. It's all that stuff over there. But to the less practical and the more emotional. This weekend, we drove up to Michigan and for a family wedding for my niece, my husband's brother's daughter. She's the oldest granddaughter, or oldest grandchild on that side, and she got married this weekend. It was a beautiful wedding right on Lake Michigan, gorgeous setting. Everything was lovely, simple, secular service, and it was just beautiful. I loved every minute of it. It was very personal. You could tell that it was all about the bride and groom and not about expectations or anything like that from anybody else. And I absolutely loved that. I thought that really showed that they're on a good path, that they're not making compromises to do things the way that are expected by some other cultural norm. They're just doing things their own way. And I love that. So, and I love them. They're really a beautiful couple inside and out. And I wish them all the best. Where things got, I don't know, went sideways a little. Nothing went horribly wrong. But, okay, he didn't want to tell his parents until, well, I thought the agreement was we weren't going to tell anybody until after the wedding. Because until wedding was on Friday night, until Saturday, so that, not that anybody's going to make a big speech or make a big scene, but just not to do that. So the whole afternoon at the wedding, evening at the wedding, I didn't say anything to anybody, which also meant that I couldn't say goodbye to anybody that I won't see again until like maybe a funeral or maybe one of my daughters if they get married. So, but I was fine with that because that's what we agreed on. Well, then I find out, I don't know if it was Friday night after we got back to the hotel or if it was Saturday morning, but that basically he told all of his siblings at the wedding. Now, it was after the service, and it was after, before most, right near the end, before we were leaving. But I wish he'd given me a heads up. If I had just known that they knew, it wouldn't have been half as awkward. But the biggest thing is that I just didn't, get to say goodbye to any of. I mean, I could say goodbye in like, see you at the next wedding in the spring, or maybe see you at Christmas, because I was trying to play it cool. Now I look like a fucking idiot, and I don't even care what I look like. But obviously, look at me. But anyway, the other thing is that my oldest daughter, confided in me that she's really had her feelings hurt recently. And some of it is just practicalities. It was, a pandemic shut down. We weren't able to visit. But it's not just that. She feels completely disconnected and unappreciated by her father. And I don't know what, especially under the circumstances right now, of what I can do if I need to do anything. But she recently bought her own house on her own as a single woman, not even 30 yet, and worked really, really hard to achieve this goal. And she just feels like he was like, he almost didn't even go see her house this weekend. We were 30 minutes. I mean, our other daughter stayed with her the 2 nights we were there. It wasn't, he's like, well, we can meet for breakfast. And I'm like, well, why don't we go to her house and see her house? And I've been there because I made a special trip to go see her house. I was going to go help her move. And then she's like, no, I want you to come when we can relax and enjoy each other's company and not be moving boxes and doing that. Which now in hindsight, after all this moving, I appreciate, because I don't know if I could have physically done it. But he's like, well, I'll get up there in the fall. And I'm like, she literally just bought this house and she's super proud of it. And you are going to not even stop and see it. And then when he was there, he was just kind of meh about all of it. And when he got in the car with me after we left, and we left our youngest daughter there, he was like, well, she's got an awful lot of work ahead of her at that old house. It's like, you can't say one fucking positive, nice thing. I mean, that wasn't even in front of her, but she later was like, he just was picking apart, oh, that's going to need fixed. Oh, that's kind of run down. Oh, when are you going to paint that? When are you going to fix that? And nothing about, wow, you got a lot of space in here, or wow, she ripped up all the carpet by herself in 2 of the main first floor rooms, pulled up all the tack strip, pulled out all the nails and staples, and scraped the floors and cleaned them. They still need to be refinished. They still have paint splatters, and they're not, but she's got them cleaned up where you can walk around on them safely. They don't look great, but they're clean and they're not nasty old carpet. He has pulled up old nasty carpet in houses before with me. He should know how. I mean, it's been a while since we've had to pull up carpet, but we've done it. She did it all by herself. And then called a company to come haul it all away, clean it all up. She did it all. She moved herself. She's moved herself through almost every move in college, except for the first one. And guess who didn't go to that one? He didn't. I moved her and her sister, and I moved her into her first 3rd floor dorm room when she went off to college, because he was traveling for work. Well, I thought we were going to spend all day Friday with her and the girls, because the 4 of us haven't been together. We weren't together last Christmas. And the wedding, it wasn't till 5, and we got there Thursday nights. We had all day Friday. I thought we were going to spend the day with the girls. And then Thursday night, he's like, well, we can go over and see Sarah's house, and we'll go to breakfast. But I got to get back to the hotel because I got to work on a presentation all day. I won't have time to work on it this weekend. I got to get that done. Yeah. So she felt rightfully snubbed. Well, and the other thing is that just 2 weeks ago, he had taken her sister, our younger daughter, and was supposed to also be her boyfriend, but he wasn't able to go to Vegas for a long weekend. And that's the 2nd or 3rd time he's taken her on a Vegas trip, and other, gone down to Atlanta and spent the weekend and gone out with her and just done, and then of course last summer, her boyfriend, they're close. She understands that. She understands that her sister, and her boyfriend are close to us here, only a couple hours away, had to live with us for a while, all that things. So those kind of things she doesn't have an issue with. I mean, doesn't feel snubbed, but she's like, oh, well, they're going on a vacation again. Hasn't taken me on a vacation since I was 16, which was a little family tradition that he had in his family, that on your 16th birthday, you went on a special one-on-one trip with one of your parents, that it was just all about wherever you wanted to go. And he took her to New York City, and they saw a bunch of Broadway shows and had a fun weekend. And when Emma turned 16, she and I went to Canada and Maine and looked for moose. We never found any moose, but we had a great time on the shore and hiking and doing all that kind of stuff. So, that's the last time he spent any one-on-one time with her, I swear to God. And they just, I don't know. I don't know what his deal is with her. He confides all kinds of things with Emma. He talks to her all the time, but he just, does she remind him too much of me? Does she, I don't, I think in a way, she doesn't, he needs to be needed. He needs someone to depend on him and be dependent on him. And if you show any signs of independence or, you know, anything, instead of being proud of her for being so independent, he's intimidated by her. That he doesn't want, he's not comfortable with women who don't need to be taken care of by a man. And the more and more I got that way, the less and less he felt comfortable around me and my friends who are like that. So, it's his shit to work out, but he needs to work it out with his daughter because it's pissing me off, to be quite honest. And, I don't want to be that divorced couple that bitches about each other to their children, even though our children are adults. I still don't want to do that. But I know that our children see our faults and are aware of them and point them out to us quite often, to be honest. I can handle it. He seems to have an issue with it. So, whatever. I don't know. But, so then when he was ready to tell his parents the next day, when we were going up to their place up in northern Michigan, further north, we also had to take our youngest daughter to the airport up there in Traverse City to fly back to Atlanta that day. So she really just rode in the car and spent like a couple hours at Grandma and Grandpa's, and then she was going to the airport. He didn't want to talk to Grandma and Grandpa in front of her because he thought that would be awkward. I'm like, she knows she's perfectly fine, and she probably would have some, things to maybe contribute to the conversation. I kind of wanted to be part of the conversation because, one, I wanted not really my side necessarily to be heard, but just a little bit of, I don't have, anyway. He asked his brother to take her to the airport and thought it would be best if I went with them while he talked to his folks. So that's what we did. I don't know what he told them. I don't know what they said. I don't know what their reaction was. He just said it's all fine. When I got back to the house, it was as if nothing was said. Nothing was said to me. The conversation did not come around to, so what are you doing? How are you feeling? None of that, like nothing. So it was just radio silence. Like they had their conversation. Okay, it's over. We're not going to bring it up again. We had dinner. Topic didn't come up. Again, we don't need to sit there and discuss our marital issues and our divorce, but just something to acknowledge that I was there. And this was... So anyway, I went off and had a smoke, came back, took a shower, and, because it's all about appearances, not just physical appearances, although that's a big deal, but just like everything has to look calm and perfect and happy. And so, nobody can know anybody. If anybody smokes there's like been blatant alcoholism in that family, and they deny it, absolutely deny it, or don't talk about it, to the person who is the one who's the alcoholic or affected the children of that alcoholic or anything like that. It's just maybe talk about that person behind their back. So I know, there's going to be a lot of speculation and probably people's opinions or whatever he told them that I was doing with my life, or what's going on, what brought us to this point. But nothing from my point of view or my children's point of view, because nobody spoke to us practically the whole time. So anyway, it's over. When we left yesterday morning, saying goodbye to his parents, they just said, they wished me well. That was the extent of it. I thanked them, hugged them, didn't want to start crying because got to keep the appearances up. Don't want to make anybody uncomfortable. So, 13-hour drive back. I'm back and I'm in my little house. I have to go back over to the big house and get more stuff. I got to get my dog and all his shit. And there's just stuff because tomorrow is cleaning day and I got to get all that crap out of there for cleaning day. So, I've been over here this morning getting the cat settled and getting a few things unpacked. So I feel a little bit more settled. And then, I'm going to head over to the other house to get the rest of it and do some cursory cleaning just so that I'm just so over moving. And of course, it's like 100 degrees here this week. I actually have to go take care of one of my dogs today too. So anyway, that's my update.